Hello, and welcome to this inaugural meeting of the Aventri ASU user group. So glad to see so many of you here. There's been a great response to our request, and good to see you so many showing up today. I'm Steve McGillivray, one of your two hosts. I work in the Office of University Events and Protocol. My other host is my coworker, Laura Rutherford. And today will be somewhat unusual in that it's a bit more programmed than I expect we will normally have for a user group meeting. I think we're going to have a lot more of your input into the meeting, what you want to see, what you want to talk about. But today, for the first one, we have a lot of information that we want to share with you. And so this is what our presentation will look like today. First, we're going to talk about some updates to the Aventri platform. First up is changes to the virtual events features available to ASU users in the virtual events platform. Next, we'll talk about the much delayed but now released event email beta. And as a result of those two features, we are also going to be releasing some new ASU templates. And then we're going to be talking about a new feature we'll be adding to the platform soon called URL masking. Next, we're going to be talking about a new program hosted or sponsored, I should say, by our friends at the Enterprise Marketing Hub. And we also need to announce some changes to the Aventri mobile app pricing from the contract we've just signed. And then, if there's time, we'll be taking questions for the entire program and throughout. But before we begin, let me give a shameless plug to the webinars that Laura and I are offering this fall. These are everything you wanted to know about Aventri, but were afraid to ask. It is a series. We just started the second to last series on Tuesday with the Aventri Essentials. But we have 3 more webinars in this series, and then one final series of the entire run that you can still sign up for. If you haven't signed up for these yet, you can go to the link at the bottom of the page. If you have signed up and attended, thank you. And if you'd like to come again to see if you missed anything or just to get a refresher, you can simply go back to your registration and add some new sessions. And otherwise, we hope you will pass this along to your coworkers as well, who may like to learn more about how to use Aventri. So first up, we want to talk about the Aventri Virtual Events Platform. As many of you may know, we have been using the Aventri platform since January, so for the last 8 months, shortly after they announced, and we have gone, 15 to 20, or I should say you guys have done 15 to 20 virtual events using this platform, and it's been all sorts of different types of events. And Laura and I have been at every one and been able to see not only the Aventri technology in use, but also to see how our users have been using it. Just to give you a reminder of what the full Aventri platform is, Aventri has built this virtual event technology into their registration system. So you already have built-in security. People must be registered for your event before they can get to the login page, which is supplied, and the virtual lobby, where your attendees can see the full agenda and access the links to those sessions. And you have the option of add-on features for the benefit of your attendees, similar to the mobile app platform. And again, if you remember, Aventri offered 2 different built-in options with their platform. One was presentation mode, which was their version of webinar, and the other was meeting mode, their version of the collaborative meeting. But you could also use Aventri for external video conferencing, and Here at ASU, that's most likely to be Zoom, but it can be any other external video conferencing system, WebEx, GoToMeeting, Microsoft Teams, whatever. And of course, you can also put in pre-recorded videos as sessions, whether they're standalone videos or simply presented during one of these other session types. The system also allowed us to record those sessions in the built-in and share them automatically with users. If that we used external technology, we could also link to the video wherever that was hosted, whether it was back on Zoom or whether we uploaded it to YouTube or Vimeo and shared from there. And the Aventri built-in platform also provided us with more detailed reporting when people were using the Aventri built-in session types. When an attendee entered the session and when they left, how long they stayed in those sessions. That's what if you were using their presentation or meeting mode. So after seeing how our users used it and looking at the technology and actually looking at the entire ASU offerings for software, we've decided to move forward with changes to the system. So what we're going to do is, starting today, we're going to allow all ASU users access to the virtual tab and using external technology only. So you'll still have the login page, you'll still have access to the virtual lobby, you'll still have access to those navbar features, those add-on features for your attendees, but you'll be limited to only sharing external technology links. And even though that's a limitation, you can still use them for early entry for hosts and for speakers in the VE sense of the word. So if you wanted to, you could program all of your Zoom links into your registration. They show up in the virtual lobby and you can direct your speakers there for all links to those sessions, and they can get in up to 2 hours early. You and your speakers can get into those sessions up to 2 hours early. Your attendees, though, you decide how early the attendees can go into those sessions. 5 minutes, 10 minutes is typical. You'll also get basic reporting out of Aventri. If your attendee comes in and clicks on that link, they will be marked as attended. And you can still post recordings to the Aventri virtual lobby so you can share with your attendees, but you'll be posting those recordings manually. Now, for those of you who are interested in upping your game on the VE platform, you still can do that. You can contract directly with Aventri for their built-in system. So if you want Aventri's presentation mode, if you want Aventri's meeting mode, if you want that enhanced reporting, it's important for you to see the data on a person coming into your session and how long they stayed and when they left, and you want to post those recordings automatically, you can do that, but you're going to have to contract with Aventri directly. So this can be done on a per event basis. In addition, Aventri has recently announced a partnership with an even more advanced virtual event platform called Brand Live. So what does that look like? Well, let's see.
So here's the deal. These live events, they all look the same and feel the same, but they don't have to. Using our virtual production studio, Green Room, you can bring the magic of television to your most important meetings and events. Elevate normal into high production value TV quality live and pre-recorded shows that are memorable and worth rewatching or watching on demand if your audience missed it live. From large multi-day shows to single sessions, you can manage presenters and the rehearsal schedule so the shows run smoothly from start to finish. Before the show, collaborate with other presenters in real time using Show Builder. And ensure that you have a full sequence built with all your shots dialed in, with durations, titles, shot cues, and notes. Using the show board, drag and drop your live presenters, slides, and video clips into the right order, and viewable to both producers and presenters. It's that easy. Customize layouts and add custom lower thirds and graphics so that your show is styled to stand out and look like your brand. With your production work already done, you can focus on making your presenters shine. When it's time to stream or record, talk directly to your presenters on the stage without your audio going directly to the show. Use keyboard shortcuts to change shots, turn titles on or off, and navigate tabs. Kind of like this, and this, and this. And for your nervous presenters, give them control. Let them drive their own slides or screen shares, or use the teleprompter or comfort monitor style notes in case they need them. They'll love you. This is your time to up-level the game and be the showrunner you were meant to be. It's showtime. You got this.
Great. Now we can all tell our supervisors we're no longer event coordinators, we're showrunners. I like it. Okay, what does this look like pricing wise? Well, you're going to have access to everything I said for the ASU side, the external technology, the login page, the virtual lobby. That's all free for you. If you want to upgrade to Aventri's built-in platform, these are the prices that they're offering based on number of attendees. These prices will include 90 days of recorded storage. You also get a 1-hour training course for your speakers or moderators. And again, customer support number for the duration of your event, so if you have trouble. In addition, you can contract with Aventri Professional Services for even more services. If you would like them to help you create that registration site or set up that virtual site, or you would like Aventri support staff to actually be there at your event, you can contract with Aventri for those professional services. If you want to go for Brand Live, we're not able to give us pricing at this time, so we'll do that just on a quote by quote basis. But now let me go inside and show you what it is you should see now in your registration site. Okay, now you should all see the virtual tab. This is how you turn on the virtual options of this event. Just turn on enable, give you a warning, you're going into test and private, which is exactly what you want when you are starting out. Once you save and stay, you get a couple of things happen. First, you get that URL to the virtual lobby listed right below your event URL. You get access to lots of options. I'm not going to go through these right now. I just want to point out a couple of things. The virtual lobby and login page have their own theme editor. We will include with the new template ASU theming for you to use, but this can be customized for your event. Now, how do you use this? Well, when you set up your agenda on your agenda sessions page, and you go into one of your sessions, you will now have a new section called virtual session. If you want to turn on a virtual session for this session, just enable it, and you'll be limited again to external technology only. And these are the important features. You post your Zoom links in here, and you decide how soon the button on the lobby can be active for your attendees. Okay. If you want to have the virtual lobby used for your speakers to enter the Zoom links, for your other staff members who you designate as hosts to do that, you can assign hosts from anyone who's registered for the event, and you can assign speakers here. And once you do that, your speakers and your hosts can click on those links up to 2 hours before the scheduled start time. Okay, so you could use the virtual lobby as the only place your speakers need to go to get those links. You don't have to let those Zoom links out in the wild and risk their security. It's just that simple. Okay. We will be offering a webinar on this sometime in the future to go into all the bells and whistles, because there are some other things to consider or be aware of when you're doing virtual events. But that's it in a nutshell. Again, you have access to the virtual tab starting today. And if you're interested in the Aventri services or the Brand Live services, send us an email at aventri@asu.edu, and we will connect you with the Aventri account manager. Any questions on virtual event platform or these changes? Either post it in the chat or just unmute your microphone and let us know.
Hi, hi, this is Josh. I do have a question about kind of the pricing. So just so I can understand the difference. So using the virtual process that we have available starting today, would that be the additional cost, or is it using or not using the external site like Zoom through the different sessions through Aventri's virtual platform, or is it using all the bells and whistles that we've been kind of testing? Is that kind of the additional cost? Like, where is the line where it kind of goes through? Just
right.
to be really clear.
Right. And I didn't go in to show you what the Aventri side of things are, again, assuming you've seen some of our other promos about this. But no, using the login page, the virtual lobby, the external technology, your links to, we're going to all use Zoom, aren't we? We're all going to use Zoom. That is all free. Having that early entry for hosts, that is free. Having the basic reporting, that is all free. If you want to use the Aventri's built-in system, which is, again, presentation mode, the webinar, meeting mode, their collaborative meeting, you want to get enhanced reporting, that's when you would contract with Aventri for those other services. Or if you want to go to Brand Live, that would also be getting more fees. And I don't know, again, we don't know the exact pricing on that. Is that clear? Basically, anything we've allowed you to see, Josh, is free. Okay. If you can do it in Aventri right now, you're free to use it. Okay. You will not incur any costs. It's only when you want more that it requires a contract with Aventri, and then we will adjust settings and such. Okay.
Okay. I have probably a few more nitpick questions, but I feel like it'll probably be answered in a later later session. Thank you so much.
Well, later session, or feel free to ask them at the end if we've got time. Okay. Anybody else? Can this work for hybrid events also? Well, I don't see any difference honestly between a virtual event and a hybrid event. The only difference is how the attendee is coming to your event. So yes, you can offer, you can create your event registration for both in-person and virtual. In fact, some events are doing that already. So absolutely can work with hybrid events. Okay, anything else? Okay, if not, moving forward to the next big piece of news, the event email beta. Last time we had a meeting like this, actually it was around November, where they were telling us that the event email beta would be ready by first quarter. Well, obviously that didn't happen. They were focusing on their virtual event platform. We've actually gone through 2 versions of the event platform in the last 8 months. So we've seen an upgrade there. But now the things have sort of settled down on the virtual side. Now they are getting back to the event email system upgrades and back to working on this beta. And Aventri offered us the opportunity to be a part of this beta, and we jumped on it. We have seen this, like I say, 6-8 months ago. We knew our users would love these features. So
when we warned them, you want a good beta test, hand it over to our ASU users. You'll get a great beta test. And so they're on board. And so we are releasing this today. What is the event email beta? Again, it's part of the registration module. It has new organization to the different emails, the system or triggered emails that we use, and those scheduled emails, which we called them custom in the old registration site. There's a new email HTML editor, and there are new ways for you to send these scheduled emails based on the sessions your attendees have selected, the answers to questions that they have answered in the attendee info section, and if you have any merchandise options available, you can even send emails based on that. Plus, there's now a new scheduling option added. It's always been date-based for scheduling these things. Now you can send an email based on a relative date. But you'll also see changes in the marketing module look and organization that's also affected by this event email beta. So let me show you what you should see there. Okay. You should now see an events email beta. And here's what I'm talking about the new organization. Here are the system emails. Again, all those emails that are triggered by some action by the attendee when they go through our registration processes, right? The confirmation email, the incomplete email, if they don't finish the registration in time, et cetera, et cetera. You can still edit these emails. You can clone them. The only thing you cannot edit is this registration modification email. This email, there's a special feature somewhere in Aventri where if someone has forgotten their reference number, a link shows up that sends them an email automatically. This is the only email I cannot brand or we cannot edit. Just don't even bother trying. It doesn't save them, it just gives you an error. But everything else you can edit and save. Down here is where you'll find your custom emails, the emails you're going to send off a schedule. Okay, let me show you what that looks like. Now, both the system emails and the schedule emails look very similar in this new layout. Under details and content, first you begin with your from email address and name, the reply to email address and name. And then down here is the new email content editor. Okay, I've got a custom HTML template inside here, but it should look very similar to the editor should look very similar to the other HTML fields you see throughout the registration system. Okay, once you have crafted your email, save and stay, and you can move on to who gets the email on the recipients tab. Okay. You can, like you could before, you can decide who gets the email, public registrations or admin registrations. You can decide which categories can get the email. So if you want to send something different to your speakers than to your general audience, something different to faculty versus staff, etc. Your registration status, of course, is still programmable, but here is the new stuff. If you have program sessions under agenda sessions, you can now decide, send an email based on people who are registered for that session or not, or if they've attended that session or not, right? It must be a selection option on the agenda sessions page. In other words, you need to use either a single session checkbox or one of the multi-session radio buttons to get this to work. Obviously, you don't need it if you're using single session, no input on the session page, right? Because that means everyone's invited to those sessions. You can also send based on a question, any question in the attendee info that has a selection option, right? Right now, I've just got the base template options here, but if I want to send emails to any of those folks, I now can. Okay. After I've got that, now I can schedule. And here's the new feature I think you'll like. Again, you can still send things on a specific date. and a specific time. But now you can also program it for a relative date. So how many hours, days, weeks before or after an event start date, the end date, the registration close date. Lovely, especially if you're going to set this up to and clone it later. You don't have to keep changing the specific date. You can just say, I want to send the reminder email a day before the event start date, and I want to send the customer satisfaction survey a day after the event end date. Okay. Lovely, all lovely. You will not see the schedule in the system emails, only here in the scheduled emails. Once again, when you send, first you'll see it's programmed for the send date. After it has sent, it will tell you how many emails have been sent. I can no longer edit, but I can still clone. And I can, of course, I can no longer delete. Same rules apply with scheduled. You'll be able to edit and delete before the send date and time, right? After that, it's too late, it's queued up and it's being sent. Okay, so that is the new events email beta there. Let me also show you what it looks like now in, this is now in the marketing module. This is what your emails will look like. So this is going to give me this cool little new dashboard on top, show me all the results of the most recent 10 in this folder. If I want to just hide that, I can click the button, fine. But again, similar look and feel to what I was seeing back in the registration site. Give it a name, give my notes, link to an event is here, and down here first are the event details as far as email sending and reply to. Editing the content is here, same HTML editor. I can see merge codes by clicking there. I can test the email as well, same thing back in the registration module. And when I'm ready to send, right, now I can look for that mailing list, still do the filters. The features should look familiar if you've been using the marketing module. It's just new look and feel, really. Okay. And then when you want to see the reports, the new report tab. Okay. Go back there. And so that is the new event email beta. And again, this feature is also available to you starting today. Does the email targeting via answer responses work with the text answer input? No, again, it has to be a pre-selected option as you saw. So that's a drop-down box, radio buttons. I haven't tested, so I'm not sure if, I would guess checkbox works. Not sure about multi-check. That would require some testing, and I haven't tested that. So I will test that, Melissa, and get back to you on that. But no, that can't be based on a text model. I don't know any computer that's that smart as far as sending things. Okay. Any other questions about the new event email beta? If you have any issues using the event email beta, you think you've gotten a bug, you can contact Aventri direct and just put in the header, like I like to use an email, I like to send an email to support@aventri.com. Say it's the event email beta that you've got a question on, and that will flag them that we're using this system, and we'll flag their developers to take a look. Okay. Okay, well, if there are no other questions, I'll move on to templates. Well, all these new features, all this new technology means, and some other issues as well, means that we need to update our templates. And so we are providing you with a series of new templates, starting with the registration module. We're now up to version 4, where we have updated the event emails to the new ASU branding standards for emails. We have also branded the virtual event theme editor, which I showed you to give you a start on ASU look and feel. We're also going to be updating the emails we provide you in the marketing module. Again, you will find all of these emails in the 01 ASU Templates folder. And you will find that template for the registration module in your folders today. If you do not see them right now, be assured they'll be in your folder by end of day. But if you still have trouble finding it, let us know and we'll make sure we got it into your templates folder. The marketing email templates will be distributed by October 1st. All right. Next, well, I should go back. Any questions about templates? Hearing none, I'll move on to this new feature, URL masking. As many of you know, we get an event URL every time we create a registration site or a website in the website builder. And it's been labeled something that's not ASU, right? It's been either, well, we've started with etouches.com. Now we've got eventcloud.com ever since the Aventri rebranding. But the point of it is, it's not an ASU branded domain. Not a big deal, but it certainly would be nice. And I think our attendees would appreciate seeing an ASU branded URL when they land on our registration sites. So we are implementing this new feature called URL masking. I don't have a lot of the technical details to describe to you yet. Those are just the concept of how it's going to work, that you will be able in the event registration to change the URL from this eventscloud.com to specialevents.asu.edu and your event name or number. I think we'll be able to even customize that number. So if you want to put a short link looking name after the URL or after the domain, you can. But anyway, so that is coming and it's being worked on by Aventri and UTO and myself. And I think we'll have it ready to roll out again by October 1st. So stay tuned, details to come. Okay, so this will give you a choice. You can either do this special domain inside your event registration, or you can still use the Google links, well, I call them Google links, although it's no longer Google, the links.asu.edu, where you could make your own short link through a UTO service. Again, if you're just putting something behind a button, domain doesn't really matter. However, people do notice what address shows up in that URL field. So I think that will be beneficial for people to see an asu.edu domain. Like I say, I don't have a lot of details, but anyone has questions about this, let me know. Okay, hearing none, moving on. The Enterprise Marketing Hub would like your assistance on a new program that we're calling the Alumni Affinity program. This project is headed by Jason Puckett and Jason. Jason, I'm going to hand it over to you. Hopefully you're there. I saw you sign in earlier.
I'm here. I think Martha Bird might want to chime in first on this.
Absolutely. So if you would like to explain the project, let me know when you want to see your slide. And then when you are finished, I will demonstrate to our event coordinators how this is going to work.
Great. Thanks, everybody. And thank you, Steve, for allowing us to be part of your meeting today. I'm Martha Bird, and I represent and oversee the Alumni Engagement and Impact Office, which is part of the Enterprise Marketing Hub. And our focus is engaging alumni at scale. So we don't put events on, we strictly work on marketing, best practices, communication strategies, and really looking at the enterprise. If you think about obviously engaging at scale, it means that we have to think about the enterprise and how we all engage with all of our alumni. And really keeping the focus on the alumnus, really trying to eliminate so many mass communications that can hit an alumni all at one time. And so by by us focusing on that, we're looking at how do we capture alumni participation. And as we work with alumni engagement officers across the enterprise, everyone is very interested in this. Obviously, people who engage, and I saw a few of you on this the call today, so it's good to see you here. There are the groups, the units really want to focus in on understanding what their alumni are doing, whether it's giving, participating in something, volunteering, all sorts of things. And so data capture is extremely important for us as we continue to engage with our alumni, encourage participation from our alumni. So our team looks at how do we capture this, and Jason Puckett updates alumni records, and how do we capture this information, and what are all the places that we have alumni engagement opportunities or things that are happening around the university, and where do we need to ensure that if people are capturing this engagement, that we're putting it on the alumni record, the official record of the alumnus. So it's really important. Not only is it just for us to know and put it on the alum record, it's also used for data measurements, engagement reporting. It is used for metrics, and units are going to start using it to look and see how their efforts are working in their units and the ways that they're connecting to alums. So it's really important, again, to have this kind of data reflected. And obviously, Aventri data is extremely significant for us to have, because many of the university units are using this platform to invite and engage with people through the registration process. So we're here to share that with you, to let you know that capturing of alumni data is something that even the president's office wants to see. We report up to the president's office about how people are engaging, what are people doing, and how are they really engaging with the university, so we can better our marketing and communications, our outreach efforts, and the way that we ask people to give because we know more about them. So I'm being very quick because I know I don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to give that background. Jason has more of the background technical side of how this all works. But again, this is actually very critical that we get this type of information so that we have a really robust understanding of what an alumnus is doing with the university. I don't think anyone here likes to be called and said, oh, you know, we haven't seen you in a while. Meanwhile, you've been to 3 events, you've participated in several other things. And so we need to have all of the participation that alumnus has in one place. So with that being said, I'll stop, answer any questions, or if Jason, there's anything you want to chime in, please feel free to do so.
I think you pretty much covered it, Martha. I know this comes in handy cross-department wise. You can, you know, if you're part of WP Carey and you want to see what kinds of events your alums are attending, you know, maybe they're attending a lot of events with CC or sustainability or something. And so having all of it in one place gives you the ability to see the other interests that your alums might have versus just your events by themselves.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Jason or Martha? Yes, I agree, Amanda. Well,
Yeah.
let me show you, okay, let me show you how we're going to accomplish this, or what we're asking of event coordinators to do, the weeds, so to speak. To participate in this, we're going to call on the event coordinators to decide which event registrations they would like to share their data with. To do this, the event coordinator would open up that registration site and go to the overview page. And there you'll find a tab that says Alumni Affinity. On that page, simply change the Join the Alumni Affinity Program field to yes, and then save your changes. Be aware that once you have turned this to yes, if you clone this event registration, that setting will be part of the clone. Okay, let me show you how that works. Okay, going again to the overview page. To get to your overview page in your registration, just click overview. And here you find the Alumni Affinity tab. And simply change it to yes, save and stay. Okay, That's all you need to do. Everything else runs on automatic. What happens after you do that is after your event's end date, a report of all of your event's attendees will be sent automatically to Jason. All the attendees who were confirmed and or marked as attended as far as attendee status. So that's all you have to do. Okay. Jason will also be, and their team will also be given a list of all the events that have happened the previous month. So if they don't see your data coming in, they may reach out to you and ask you to participate. But that's basically the alumni program. We have more information on this on the Aventri support page, including how to set this up per event. But if you have questions, you can ask them now or send an email to us at aventri@asu.edu. Jason, I assumed they could reach out to you, unless if there's another email address, let me know and I'll share it with everybody.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. You can email me directly if you have any questions, or Martha, either one of us can help. I did see a question in the chat there about alerting the attendees about sharing information. And Martha said, no, you don't have to alert them. We're part of ASU. If they're alums, we already have all their info. It's not like you're providing it to anyone outside the university. So we're all on the same team. So
right. And because Aventri's or our account is under ASU, at the ASU privacy policy is in effect for everything that you gather. Let's see, I got a question from Lilia. Can this kind of integration be available for more than just alumni? I didn't mention this, but I'll give us a plug. Lilia, we actually do have, so here's the thing. We do have a way for your event registrations to sync with Salesforce, but it's the Salesforce, what is it called, Jason? The enterprise instance?
The enterprise instance,
right, yeah. And this gets confusing. In Salesforce, there are lots of different databases, and they're all called instances. And being ASU, there's more than one. There is the big one called the enterprise instance. And Jason and his team are part of another one called the advancement instance. I know of a couple of units that actually have their own instances of Salesforce, but we have built in right now a Salesforce integration with the enterprise instance. I know of some of those units who have gotten their own developer and developed their own means of syncing Aventri registrations with their own instance of Salesforce. That's where was I going with this? We can have conversations now, and this is something else, Leah, is if you do use this program, all of your data, including people who are non-alumni, are going to Jason. So you may just want to have that conversation with Jason. Just say, feel free to put all of our people in the advancement Salesforce, if that's what you're talking about. But Jason's team otherwise is just filtering out matches between what they can. There's no way for us to do this in Aventri, unfortunately. There's just no way for us to filter the alumni. There's no way for us to know who's alumni, who's not in the Aventri system, because you all make registration sites differently, and we're not going from one huge massive database of people. It's going the other way. We are frequently asked if they are student, staff, or alumni. Is that helpful for this? Kristen?
Yeah, actually it is. When we get the lists, if like the Alumni Association uses that question on a lot of their events that we get, and knowing how they're tied to ASU helps us in the matching process. And while we're really concerned with the alumni data, if we're matching the lists and they're non-degreed or students or just faculty staff, we're still going to add that information to their record in the alumni database. We have all the current students in there. We have a lot of non-degreed people. We have most of the staff, a lot of parents. So all that information is going to get put into our Salesforce instance. And I know there is a tie with the enterprise instance for some of the Aventri stuff, but the contact information in the enterprise instance comes from PeopleSoft. So on most alumni records, that's whatever they've changed it to when they graduated 25 years ago. So it's not current information versus the advancement database, the alumni database that we use. We're constantly getting updates from alumni and researching things and updating their records. So whenever any of you have asked for lists for contact for your alums, that's where we're getting it, is from the advancement database. And so that's why it's good to have all of it tied together there. That's the most current information. It's got all their degree stuff, volunteer things, employment, events from all over the campus. So, you know, we want to make sure it's updated there versus adding it into enterprise.
Fantastic. Someone asked this question in the chat, but I think it's worth asking and answering here for everyone. Can we get alumni lists from you for marketing? And Martha gave an enthusiastic yes to that. So absolutely.
And some of the folks on this call have contacted me for lists. I pull them regularly for several people here.
Right. And I see Richard Bloomer from T-Bird has mentioned that, yes, I had you in mind, Richard, when I was thinking of the unit that was using Aventri and the Aventri API to connect their Aventri information with their Salesforce instance. But be aware, anyone who's using one of our Salesforce integrated themes or their own, you can still check that box and that data will still go to Jason and his team if you want to share it in more than one instance. So it's not one or the other, folks. It's putting it in as many resources and leveraging that data as we can. All right. Say, Jason, I just had this thought, and I hate to put you on the spot, but would you be willing to come back next month and give us an update on how it's working?
Yeah, I could definitely come back and let you know how many lists I'm getting and how the matching is going.
Okay. And just, just to keep this in front of people, obviously not every Aventri user is here today or will watch the video, but if we just keep this in front of our users, I think we'll get more traction and more participation.
Definitely.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Again, hearing none. Moving on. So I don't know if I want to call this a sour note, but it's just a dose of reality. We want to talk about the Aventri mobile apps that we have available on our platform, and we have some new pricing. This is actually the first price increase that we've ever had to face. To remind you, we have a mobile app in all the app stores. It's the ASU Special Events app. And if you have an event registration in Aventri, you can use that registration as the basis of a mobile app to enhance the event experience for your attendees. It's connected to your event registration. You can host public events or private events. App can be used on a phone or a tablet. There are lots of bells and whistles that you can turn on. We work with you, Laura and I work with you to develop the app for your unit. Takes about 3 months timeline-wise, depending on the sophistication and the requirements. So I say 3 months before your event start date. It's a good time to get started, and or before your event registration goes live, because there are a few things to have in place. But so right now, the price of our apps have been at $750 per app, which is low. Normally, a mobile app can cost you anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000 or more. But with our new contract, they gave us a price increase, and these mobile app prices we always pass on to our clients. This is a premium feature. So starting January 1st of 2022, the price will be going up to $950. But if you act now, if you are thinking about having a mobile app for any event happening before August 1st, for an event happening before August 1st, you can order before January 1st to lock in the current price of $750 per event app. Now, again, a couple exclusions on that. You have to order before and pay before January 1st. The event must start before August 1st, 2022. And because this is special, there'll be no refunds. Normally, our refund policy is you have up to 30 days before the event to decide if you're going to cancel the mobile app or not. Unfortunately, we are not going to be able to honor that with this special pricing. So if you are thinking about having a mobile app for an event in the upcoming academic year and into the summer, even starting, July 31st, if that event starts, you can still use the mobile app at the old price if you put your order in before January 1st. After that, it'll be the new price of $9.50 per app per event. Again, any questions on that? If you are interested in the mobile app, simply put your order in through ServiceNow. You can go to our forum, links.asu.edu/Aventri. There's a pull down. One of the pull down options is to talk about mobile apps. You can submit your request there or just send us an email at aventri@asu.edu.
So I have a question about like what features are available on the app and I guess how it would be used. Like, would that be used for like a conference or something?
That could be an hour-long conversation right there.
Okay.
But in a nutshell, there are some details on the Aventri.asu.edu website. Lots of different features. It uses a module-based platform of features. So if you want to, it can replace your event program. I feel like it can be a place where you're showing the agenda and having links to the presentations or documents as part of that session. You can promote your speakers and have speaker profiles there. You can have attendee listings so people can see who is coming to this event. You can also have a way for those attendees to communicate with each other during the event. There are ways for you to promote websites or ask for surveys or there's also some gamification options. If you would like to have a leaderboard, so certain actions in the event trigger points, so you can award people prizes by being first in line, or there's a scavenger hunt. There's on and on and on. The full list is on the website. If you would like to see a demo, reach out to us and I can schedule a time to show you what that looks like. I would point you to the mobile app, and of course you can download the mobile app right now, but there are no active public events that I can point you to, although I suspect we usually do one for homecoming. So there could be one there in a couple of weeks. But otherwise, just reach out. Happy to do a demo on that. But yes, it is for enhancing the event experience for your attendees. It can be, like I say, a replacement for programs and other information for your event. Anyone else? Actually, let me open this up to questions for anything, not just things we covered today, but anything you would like to know about this user group, or actually you can answer our question on what would you like to see happen during these user group meetings. Now's your chance to tell us. And Laura, feel free to chime in here. I know I have run the presentation, but introduce yourselves to folks and
Hey folks, just wanted to also add that, if something comes to you about this user group and it's not, on the spot, feel free to reach out and to email us individually or at the Aventri@asu.edu and let us know your suggestions. We'd be happy to take all that input so that we really want you to drive these user sessions to help us help you. So we're looking forward to continuing these and, really just making Aventri easier and better for everybody.
Yeah, well, I envision that we'll be doing some how-tos. It'd be less sort of information-driven, I think, in future than this one is. Occasionally, with their big topics like we had today. Laura and I meet with our Aventri account manager monthly, and they like to give us a heads up on new features coming, and we'd like to pass those heads up to you, let you know what's coming. Also, this is a time to talk about features you would like to see, and we can take those back to our Aventri account managers. They take our suggestions. Sometimes they get into their development pipeline, and sometimes they wait to see if other Aventri users have that need as well before it builds up a critical mass.
Deborah has a question.
Hi, Steve and Laura. I wonder if there will ever be a time when we might see a way to categorize our custom emails. For instance, I have events that I've done some work around, so I may have a payment plan, and I'd love to have all of the emails set for different scenarios all in one place.
The only two answers I can think to come up with for that use case is to make your own template that's used for that, or just know the event that you're going to use that for, or use the marketing module to hold a copy of those emails so that you can copy paste your carefully crafted HTML and code, and you can paste them into different ones. I don't see.
It's not about copying the content. It's more about when I look at the entire listing under my emails, of being able to find, like I've tried to use like the description date underneath and do it in capitals or bold, so that I'm giving it a designator. So, because sometimes I'll have 15 or 20 different types of emails. And so
Right.
I would love to have like a header, that said second payment for student or something, and then have those emails listed underneath there.
Well, you do have the ability to create your own folders. So you could organize within your own unit folder, such as you're saying. So, inside a folder for payment plans, or,
For each event, you could do that.
you can create as many folders as you like.
Okay.
I would think maybe for you organize how you like. Each event, I do lots of events, so that would be crazy idea for me. But I often make folders to hold my templates for a specific purpose. Like I have a sandbox here, so I can put in emails where I'm just testing new features. I often make an archives folder so I can move old registration sites or websites or emails sort of out of my active list and keep them organized that way, but I know where they are.
Okay.
If you're talking about something different, I think maybe we need to take that conversation off.
Maybe we'll chat.
We'll chat. And if you've seen some examples of what you're talking about somewhere else, share what you've seen.
Okay.
And because that's a lot easier to, if we could start trying to think about what you're talking about, to visualize it
Sure.
ourselves, to see that example. Seeing some questions coming over the chat here. Do I have to start with a fresh new Aventri build to see the new features such as the email beta? No, Jim, you do not. As soon as you create anything new now, a new clone of an existing event will have the event email beta in it. Okay. In fact, the virtual tab will show up on all of your events, even the old ones. So no, you do not need to go fresh. I am rather proud of the work I've put into the ASU templates to try to save you some trouble in the upgrading. But no, if it's easier for you to just clone another event, that's fine. You can always copy and paste the code itself. Do I have a link to a good training video? Well, Jasmine, I'd recommend that they sign up for our webinars, which we talked about here at the beginning of the show, where this is their opportunity to, number one, talk with us one-on-one about some of these different features, but also, even if they just sign up and cannot attend at that particular time, it's always 3 to 4 on a Tuesday, they can always then come back and watch the video afterwards if they can't come that exact day. Okay. Yes, Melissa, the run through on, if everyone has to go, that's fine. I'm going to finish up answering these questions. And thank you all for coming. And if you do have any other questions, feel free to reach out to us at Aventri@asu.edu. Post your questions on the Slack channel, which I forgot to mention. Of course, we have the ASU Aventri workspace. Please join it. But I'm going to finish answering these questions before I finish the recording and log off. We do touch on importing attendees and talking about sessions in our webinars, Melissa. So if you haven't signed up for those, let's see, importing attendees. I think we do that in part 3. In part 2, I do touch on uploading sessions. So your video or how to using the invite emails in the marketing module. No, we've never really done an email on that or even a webinar on that. Well, Joshua, that's made it worth coming to this meeting to learn that there are email templates in the marketing module. So, I think if you came to either the essentials or the Aventri part 1, where we talk about event emails, once you get into any emails in the system, event emails, the marketing module emails are very similar to the event emails, which are talked about in part 1 registration. So if you haven't seen that, sign up. If you have seen it, maybe go back and look at the video. All right, I think we got it. All right, again, thanks everyone for coming. It was awesome to see so many of you signed up. I'm so glad to see you, and I hope to see you next week. Feel free to forward that Outlook meeting invitation to anyone else you think should attend, or promote our user group to those folks. Send them the link so they can just sign up. By signing up on our user group registration site, they will get access to a virtual lobby, to actually a virtual event where we will be storing the video recordings of these meetings. So you can always go back. Anyone who signs up will be able to get access to those recordings. So again, thanks for coming. If you have any questions, reach out. Check out our support site, Aventri.asu.edu. And otherwise, have a good rest of your day.